Welcome back, everyone, to another podcast. So we have a good friend of mine here. First person I did a podcast with, Tristan Novis.
Hey, how you doing, guys? What's up?
Okay, there's my fake audience. There we go. I think we're ready to officially start. I know you probably can't hear anything now, but today we have a lot of things to talk about. But before we get into all those topics, man, tell me what's up. Tell me what's up with you, man.
Not much, just working and stuff, trying to stay busy, trying to, just get through stuff and just keep grinding.
Okay. What are some things that you got through? Let's talk about that.
Some things that I got through. Well, probably some things I really get through is just like talking to people relationship wise and, just little bits of stuff here and there. Nothing really, anything serious.
Okay. Oh, that's cool, man. How's the this whole pandemic thing treating you as far as going out places and seeing people?
I think right now I'm getting to the age where I want to go out, but I just choose not to. I rather just work and stay home, and then on occasionally go out with some friends, but nothing really, anything special.
Hmm. Okay. Okay. No, I could say the same, and I'd say that's really just been the whole thing for me during this whole weird times that we're in. I don't want to say pandemic because it's like I feel like the words that we use in the media, it's just like overhyping this whole situation.
Yeah,
Uh, the whole crisis, the pandemic, those are scary words. I mean, no one wants to hear that. If you're trying to have a good day, no one wants to hear things like that. Scary words.
yeah.
Um, but pandemic or no pandemic, I could say for myself, everything has been pretty good. I feel like I've been blessed through the time of the pandemic, and regardless if it was here or not, I feel like just through this whole thing, everything has just been working out. It seems like a lot of things have just been coming together,
Hmm.
and yeah, it's something I'm very appreciative of. Not the pandemic, of course, but I'm
Yeah.
appreciative of everything that's happened for me and the family. And of course, we got this whole podcast thing going, so that's kind of cool. We've been talking about it for a while now. And what are some things that you either lost or gained throughout the whole? I'm gonna say the P word. I don't even want to say the pandemic word. We're just gonna call it P. Okay. So, what have you gained? What have you lost through the P?
Well, I would say one of the good things that came out of this is I got both of my shots, so I'm all good with all that. Yeah, so
Ooh.
I got both of them, so I'm all set to if I want to travel and not, which will unlikely be probably not for a while because I just am so busy right now. Um, I say one of the gains, and I don't think it's just for me. I think a lot of people are like, this was an unknown thing that came to the States, and no one knew how to deal with it, and no one knew anything about it. So I think now people got more appreciative of loved ones and their friends because they don't know what's going to happen. Because when it first started, it said, oh, it only affects older people, but now it affects younger people or people who have like diabetes or sick. So it's just all been so chaotic, and it just gives you more. It gives you appreciation of what you have, and not to take it for granted.
You're right. I agree. I fully agree. Here about Texas, it's completely open.
Of course,
All right. So you said you got the vaccine.
I did.
Did your arm go numb? Did it go dead?
It did go numb. So the first, I think it also depends on which ones you get. So I got, um, my mom, she got Pfizer, and all she says when she got that is her arm was numb. So I got Madrid. I got Madrid. I got the other one. So what the other one did is when you got it, the next day you just felt. I mean, you just felt sick and you had a headache and like you had the shivers and you just didn't want it to work. And what I said, it's because they're physically injecting you with the product. So they're injecting you with it. And what it is and why you have this reaction and why you don't feel good the next day, it's your body fighting the vaccine that they're giving you. So once your body fights it, you'll feel better, the next day. Like the next day I just went to work. I felt great and
And your arm was dead, but you went to work.
no, I didn't go to work like the next day after I got it. I went to the next day after because the next day I got
Oh,
it, I
okay.
felt couldn't go to work. I just felt achy, but then the next day I was totally fine. It's just your body fighting it off, and
Yeah.
so getting used to it.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Well, I haven't had the shot personally, but I know I'm gonna have to probably get it because me and the family we want to travel and we got tickets. So by then they might have a law. I know they've been talking about it for people who want to travel, and so um, yeah, for that reason I might have to get it.
Hmm.
But for now, like I'm healthy. I don't personally feel as if my life has got any harm. But some people are obviously. But
Yeah.
with that being said, I'm gonna try holding off on that as much as possible until the plane tickets come. But
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Like, there's a lot of people that just rush to go get this shot that I was just a little bit like, like you heard a lot of things in the media with people having different reactions to it, but
Hmm.
I just I don't know. I just feel I'm not the rushing type person. Oh, they got a vaccine out. I'm gonna go have them stick a needle in my arm, and especially when I'm healthy already. Like I don't,
Yeah.
so I don't know, and I'm pretty skeptical.
Yeah.
But for the traveling purpose, yeah, definitely, I'm probably gonna have to get it for that. Um, yeah, but besides the whole vaccine and stuff, because we can talk about that all day. That's all you see in the media. It's crazy.
No. Yeah.
What are some things going on in today's trending world?
Well, I mean, there's a couple different articles that I found. Um, I think the main one I hear a lot of people are talking about who in the NBA will you consider, a legend or a Hall of Famer.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people are saying Russell Westbrook because he's just, you see him in the game slowing down monster dunks, assist wise. I wouldn't say he's better than Steph Curry. Curry's play is just off the charts. But I don't think Russell Westbrook can be a Hall of Famer because he's dropping points. He's dropping triple doubles, but he's got it in the rebounding and assist category, like 15 rebounds, 20 something assists. But when it all comes down to it, the thing everyone looks at is rings. You can have the best stats ever. If you don't have the rings, you can't put yourself in the category. That's why people are putting Steph Curry in the category because Curry has rings and he's been MVPs and he's been Finals MVPs. That's why him and LeBron James are always in the topics because they have the rings to prove it. Do you think anyone would talk about Michael Jordan if he never got rings?
Yeah, that's a good question. Um, no, I agree, but I feel like just with the Hall of Fame in general, I feel like the people who should be inducted in the Hall of Fame should be retired. If you've retired, like you left everything out on the court, and now you're done.
Mm-hmm.
That's when I think that the discussion should happen. And like I think while players are still out there, still proving themselves, it's wrong
Yeah.
to immediately already have people in the topic like who should we put? Because then you might you might say this person over that person, but they still have stuff left to prove on the
Mhm.
court. You know, it doesn't give them a chance to see if they're still worthy of, being inducted or not. So I think just with that whole process in general, but yes, you are right. If we're going off of like, championship rings and stuff, because that says a lot right
Yeah.
there. That
So
means you got all the way
yeah.
and you beat all the teams you had to, and you have to, you have to fight your way through to get this thing that everyone's trying to get, this ring and this status, to be put down in history. And yeah, that ring says a lot. It speaks for a lot. But
Yeah,
and
no, and it's like the same thing. I can't put like Russell Westbrook. He's a phenomenal player. I seen him play. He's just amazing. But at the same time, I can't put him in the category with, you know, Bird, Robinson, Wilt. I can't put him up there in that category with all those Hall of Famers, with all those legends. I can't put him up there. I mean, the difference between him, I think Steph Curry, he can get there, but I just think he still has a while to go before he's up there in the category wise.
yeah,
You know,
who are some other people that they're talking about when it comes to the Hall of Fame situation?
um, I think they're putting well, probably uh, Luka Doncic, James Harden. Um, I'm trying to think about who else could be. I
Oh,
mean, you can put the Splash Brothers together. They can get up there. There's all these older players who they're thinking like Kawhi Leonard. He can be up there. He helped Toronto win their championship. Um, yeah, I think there's a lot of players, and I also think there's a lot of players people think should be in the Hall of Fame.
what do you think about Carmelo Anthony? They just put Carmelo. They said there's an article saying Carmelo Anthony moves into 10th place on NBA scoring list. Maybe that's just for that, but that's not being considered for
I think
Hall
I
of Fame
think
list.
I think Carmelo Anthony. See, that's the problem with some of these players.
Where are his rings at? You know.
I think they're holding on to their careers. So when I look at Carmelo Anthony, he had his career in the early 2000s. He
Yeah.
had his chance. And then I think also when it comes down to it, it comes down to teams. I just think he got put on terrible teams with terrible players. I mean, yeah, he did good, but I can't put him up there with the players. I mean, at least like I know I keep going back to Curry, but at least Curry was surrounded by good players.
Mm-hmm.
And the same with James. He was surrounded by good players. And a lot of people say, "Oh, well, you put your all everyone's talking about are these just the one good player on the team. They're not talking about the rest that are built around them." And I'm like, "Yeah, that's kind of messed up. They're not talking about the other players, but when it comes down to it, you always have that one franchise player that's in every single sport that everyone talks about."
Yeah.
And when LeBron went to the Cavs were if Cavs didn't get LeBron, they would have never won a championship. They didn't have the players.
Yeah. Stuff like that.
Yeah, and that's the same. Like you put Curry on a team with another good shooter, another good point guard, just unstoppable. It's just why Milwaukee's good because they have Giannis.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just you got to have good players.
Yeah.
And if you don't have good players, then you're not going to be in any categories.
So did you hear about the New York Knicks and how Derrick Rose became the sixth man of the year?
Yeah, I heard about
Sixth.
that.
What do you think about that? He's a beast, bro. Even after the injury, bro,
I know he came back from that injury, and I'll
that's
give
a
him
lot you
that.
come back for. Like he came back and yes, obviously he didn't play the same, but he, you didn't see him flying over people dunking like he was,
No,
but he definitely he developed in a different way, like a lot smarter and more tactical about how he approaches the basket and how he goes on the court and facilitates his team members. He's really effective. He became really effective in another way.
Yeah.
And if you tried to play against him the same way before the injury, it wouldn't work out because he's on a new page. So I honestly think that he deserves a lot of recognition for that, especially like how he became the sixth man of the year. I think I think that's a big deal because a lot of people coming back from an injury like that would just stay their butt on the bench, dude. You know, and he still came out there and kicked butt, dude. I think that's really respectable for a player. It says a lot about the person.
Yeah. I remember I was reading an article how they were saying that Steph Curry is in the league. He's one of the best. He's one of the best shooters all around. Like
Mm-hmm.
in like all the years of basketball. And I'm like, you can't put in a category that he's the best all around. You have to go around and look at all the players from the 70s and the 80s and then put them up there. If I was completely honest, I think the all around the shooter, I give my money to Larry Bird. I think Larry Bird was just a phenomenal shooter
Mm-hmm.
when he was. I mean, Steph Curry's. I think Steph Curry, when he was shooting, he changed the game of 3-pointers. Shooting with 2 or 3 guys on you, half courts, faders, wherever. He changed the game of 3-pointers. But I think when it came to accuracy and percentage wise, I think Larry Bird would take the 3-pointers away.
And yeah, they're different times. I think you can't really compare. I mean, you can always make the comparison, but I do think that the way the game is played now is different. Yeah, we're still playing basketball, but it's like there's new moves involved. Players they play differently. Like if you threw LeBron James back in the day, like would that be a good thing? Would it be a bad thing? Like would he be better? Would it be worse? Like or would he still perform the way he does now? Like that's why I say it's really hard to make all these comparisons because there's a lot of would have, could have type situation.
Yeah.
A lot of people get stuck and they have these conversations like that, and it takes a lot of time up. But we'll really never know the answer. It's not like we can just make a simulator and just like put the modern day players in the back, into the old school days and see how that works out. All right, but hey, look, I wanted to talk about this. This is crazy. I seen a video. I think it was on World Star or the Shade Room on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
Can't really remember. But dude, did you hear about the Chinese rocket?
No, what about it?
Oh my god. Bro, this is wild. So, rocket debris from China's space station launch is hurtling back to Earth as scientists aren't sure where it will land. So basically, hold up. A huge piece of space junk is about to make an uncontrolled re-entry back into Earth's atmosphere, threatening to drop debris on a number of cities around the world in the coming days. It's leftovers from China's first module for its new, I don't know how to pronounce that, Tianhe space station, and no one knows where it will land.
Mm-hmm.
The 46,000-pound Chinese rocket, recently launched their first module into the space orbit. After the core separated from the rest of the rocket, it should have followed the predetermined flight path into the ocean, but now scientists have little idea where it will land as it orbits. Oh my gosh, this is crazy. I want to see more information, like how big it is. But dude, like, that's crazy. Hold up. Here it is. Hold up. Hold up. I don't see it, but it's huge. I think it was World Star Shade Room that I seen, but it's massive. Like this thing is really, really big. The Pentagon right now is tracking it and seeing where may impact the Earth, and who are they gonna have to evacuate and stuff like that. But here it is. The rocket's size is 22 tons. Okay, and I don't know how long it is. It's probably somewhere, but 22 tons, bro. And
It's a lot.
it's traveling at 18,000 miles an hour. That's crazy. So they're saying we should expect its return to Earth between the 8th and the 10th of May. That's in a few days. Bro, think about, you remember the Big Bang? Well, of course, we weren't there, but they talk about the Big Bang. What if this is like our Big Bang? We did it to ourselves.
No. It wouldn't. This wouldn't be the Big Bang.
Bro, hold up. So all right, so let me get this straight. Hold up. I'm not trying to I'm just connecting dots here. So the COVID came from a lab in China, right?
Okay.
And so is this thing, this whole entire, this 22-ton space station debris is coming down somewhere out here. I don't know where out here, but it's coming down here, and it's gonna destroy the Earth somewhere. It's gonna destroy some city out here. That's kind of a lot, And I'm not trying to put blame on anyone, but of course you got to make mistakes to figure things out. But we had the COVID pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're having this coming down from this sky, 22 tons, 18,000 miles per hour. No one knows when exactly it's going to come down or where. We just have approximate details on that.
Yeah.
It approximately would come down around this time, between this time. Isn't that crazy? It's like, what's going on here? Is this an attack? Is it on purpose? Is it I don't know. Seems like a lot. Seems like a lot with the whole COVID and this thing.
Yeah.
What if this thing is worse than, what if it's worse than we think?
Maybe it could be, but we'll just find out.
Yeah, just looking up in the sky. That's crazy, man. I don't know. I just feel like it's a lot to be happening, especially with China and stuff like that. I just feel like it's a lot of things going on. Do you hear about Bill Gates and his wife, Melinda? I think it's Melinda, right? Is it Melinda?
Did they both get COVID?
Huh?
What happened to them?
Yeah, it's Melinda. Bill Gates and Melinda Gates are splitting up after 27 years. I think this happened on Monday or something, but a few days ago. And so yeah, they got married in 1994, and wow, yeah, they're just getting a divorce. That's an expensive one. Jesus, that's a lot, man. I don't know.
I mean, when you have all that money,
What about that, huh? When you got all that money, huh?
I'm just saying. I looked at some of these divorce settlements people get, and it's just crazy how much they get for doing absolutely the wife doing absolutely nothing, and they get all that money.
But apparently she's done a lot, though. So
well, I mean, if she's done a lot, I can get that. But there is some divorce settlements of celebrities and stuff like that where the wife or the husband, they'll get a lot of money and they don't do anything to contribute to that. So,
do you think this was a money decision, or was this truly? Because I seen Bill Gates, he posted, I think it was on Instagram or Twitter, but he posted on there, and it seems like they don't know how to move forward in this next phase of their marriage, but they still plan on working together as far as business and stuff goes.
No, I honestly think it was just a mutual. They said, "Hey, you know what? We have a lot of stuff going on. I just think it's just time to call it quits.
Yeah, sometimes that is just sometimes that's just all that's left. Sometimes it's got to end because you just can't either stand each other or you just are kind of done with this seeing each other. I don't know, man. This is weird. I just feel like if you've been married that long, just go the rest of the way. It's not like
It's hard. You can't.
just go all the
It's
way, man.
no, a lot of people can't do it.
I seen there's this funny post. There's these girls, these Instagram models. They're shooting their shot at Bill Gates. These two baddies. I think they're twins or sisters. I don't even know. They're over here like, yo, I heard you was single. I'm like, it's crazy, man. Well, I mean, look, Bill can go get it if he wants to now. You know what I mean? He ain't got to
do what he wants.
Exactly. He can get wild. He can get crazy. You know what I mean? Do what he want. I mean, he's gonna lose that money though. I think. I don't know. But this is crazy, 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 man. I know. After being in a relationship that long, I wouldn't even know how to be single, if you ask me. But I don't know. So Jeff Bezos, he says that his heirs would pay some mighty big tax bills under the Biden plan. I don't know what this really means, but I'm not a politician, and I don't do numbers, so I don't know. I would have to read this whole entire article. Yeah, we're just looking at articles really and seeing what's current in today. What do you see over there, Tristan?
A 2,000-year-old Roman sculpture that authorities said in a court filing was being imported by Kim Kardashian West
What?
is the subject of a request by the federal government. So basically, what is doing is someone smuggled ancient artifact in to put in Kim Kardashian's house.
What?
So they're trying to see if Kim ordered for that to happen or someone was trying to just put it there, but we're just still trying to see what was going on.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. That's pretty cool, though. I'm not gonna lie. She's into some cool stuff. Whether she arranged for that to happen or not.
Yeah.
It sounds cool. I mean, she's got enough money to do stuff like that. I mean, to tell you the truth, I mean, if you got enough money like that, I mean, do you need the real thing?
Maybe.
Like, can't you just get like a very close replica or duplicate? Have it made. You got a lot of that money. It's not worth some sort of legal case where you can get in trouble for. I don't know. That's just my take on it, man. I wouldn't even put my whole reputation on the line for some stuff like that. I think it's pretty stupid if you ask me. But hey, are there any so before the podcast we were talking about, you said it was Pennsylvania,
What?
the shootings over there?
Oh no.
Philadelphia?
No, Florida.
Florida? So did you find out exactly what? Wait, hold on. Before we even go there, I'm looking at some on Dwayne Johnson right here. So I think he said this. I don't know. But it says Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson used to be mistaken for being a girl. How?
Very buff girl. I don't know.
Man, look, this is some BS. But all right, so he said himself, Dwayne Johnson says that people often confused his soft features as a child, thinking that he was a little girl. Dang. That's crazy. People thought that I was a little girl because I had really soft features and I had really soft afro hair. All right, nothing's crazy about that, but guess what?
What?
One time that happened to me when I was a little kid.
What, someone mistaked you for a woman?
Yeah, dude, and this happened over there on the Sam's Club. It's no longer Sam's Club. It's, the Costco over there now.
Yeah.
Dude, I remember me and the family. Me, my brother, and my sister. We all had like big old afros. Like our hair was long, and we were at the Sam's Club, and I remember I went into the bathroom, and my mom didn't know I'd used the restroom, so she was looking everywhere for me, and my mom was looking, and she asked this guy, and the guy said, "Yeah, oh yeah, a little girl went in the boys' bathroom, in the men's room." And then my mom, she waited, and I got out, and she told me what the guy said. And I was so mad. I'm like, "What is he talking about? I'm not no little girl. I'm not no little girl." Bro, like I wanted to fight, dude. I'm not gonna lie. I was upset, but I was like, "How could you think I was a girl? Like, come on, dude." So no, like The Rock. Look, I've had the same experience, man. So I don't even. Hey, what do you think about The Rock becoming president?
No.
No. Oh, come on, man. Seriously?
No, I don't think you can do it.
All the people we had already are celebrities, if you think about it. So what would hurt if we have The Rock? You tell me.
I think that would hurt is he's too he'll be too over his head. I think the problem with it is this is what I'm getting at. So everyone says the president runs the country, which if you sincerely look into it, they have people telling them, they have cabinets and people behind closed doors having them tell them what to say. I think the problem if Dwayne was president, first of all, I think he said it as a joke. I highly doubt he's going to become president. I don't even think he wants to. I think
you see the TV show he has called The Young Rocks?
But I get
he's running for president in there.
No,
so
but,
I don't know if it's like a foreshadow to him actually doing it.
But
We'll see.
here's the thing though that I'm getting at is I think all in all he said he was going to run for president is because people started to say rock for 2024. But I think with everything The Rock's doing and his busyness, his movies, all his TV shows, he had everything. I just don't think him in office being president is something he needs to do right now.
Really?
Yeah, I just don't see it.
So tell me about like some of the things that other presidents have done, like as far as like compared to what you think The Rock might do when he comes to president, if he does. Like what do you think that would be different between The Rock, being who he is coming into being a president, and comparing those to the people that we had previously?
Well, if you look back of all the presidents, they have background in businesses and like business degrees and running that. The Rock, all he knows is Hollywood and wrestling. I'm not saying he doesn't know politics. I'm just saying all our presidents have come from backgrounds of some political party and knowing politics. And I think if he wants to run, he needs to stop his acting career if he wants to do it. I think he needs to put that on hold and stop doing that. And I think if he stops doing that, he can focus more of learning more of the politics, business-wise, and becoming like that. And if he does that, he could. Because if you look back of it, all the presidents were like that.
Yeah, I think he could too. He's young enough.
Yeah, I think he
He'd be
can
the
do
youngest
that. But
president.
see, I think the problem is he's one of the biggest blockbusters movie stars right now, and I think there's a lot of money lost if he decides to do that. And I just don't see him leaving to go do that. I mean, he has plenty of blockbuster movies. He has his own TV shows. He has that, what is it, the Spartan TV show.
The Spartan TV show.
It's like they get athletes like CrossFitters, like all
Oh
athlete.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
do.
The
It's kind of
Titan Games. They have the.
yeah,
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 he has that.
yeah.
So it's like,
He has a new one called
yeah,
the Young Rocks.
yeah. He has all this stuff going for him. Why would he want to become president?
So I just watched I finished his TV show literally yesterday. I started it on Tuesday. No, I started on Monday and I finished it yesterday. So on Tuesday. Um, it's a great TV show. Like it goes into his life and everything. Young kid, growing up, young man, and and then it fast forwards to like the current day. But it the current day in the show, it's like I think it's like 2032, 2034 or something like that, where he's running for president, and it's pretty interesting because every time he goes up to he has his speeches, his press conferences, he'll start to like talk about like something from experience, and then he'll cut back to like when he was a kid, and it shows a lot of detail in his life, with his family, what he had to grow up with, what shaped his experiences, his and how he moves forward in life, his mentality, why he does the things that he does, working the gimmick. That's they do that a lot in the show, and I think it's pretty interesting because like I don't because if he does become our president, no other president has the type of status he does before any sort of presidency. Also, making a TV show of him becoming president, and him going about that in the form of a TV show, even though he hasn't really done it yet, but he's going about it in the form of a TV show. So I don't know if this show is like a foreshadow to him becoming president, but in the show, that's definitely what's happening. I think he wants to become president, like you said, and like you also said, the president doesn't really control all of the moves because behind the doors, there's people doing and pulling the strings. Um, so I think that genuinely he would like to, but also be able to, do it the way he would like to do it. But I think he also knows that a lot of the stuff that he wants to do, he won't be able to do because there are people who actually control, what the president does and what he says, and who pulls the trigger or not. And so
When it comes down to it, I think in the past, I don't know how many years, I stand by. People get in arguments with me all the time, but I stand by that Trump was an awesome president. I think he was one of our best presidents so far.
but where's your tattoo of him? You don't have a tattoo of him. I don't believe you. Come on, you got to get it right here on the chest or something.
No. But I do believe he was, like, he did so much. Like, you can argue his tactics and how he talks and stuff like that. I mean, you can argue that part.
You could do that with every president.
But
yeah,
at the same time, he's gotten stuff done. He'll say, I'm going to do this, and he does it. He was one of those presidents who always kept his word about when he was going to do something. Okay? The thing I don't like about our president now is he's undoing everything Trump did because he wants to be the hero that everyone wants. So people are getting mad because he has all these promises, but he never capitalizes on anything. He hasn't done anything he's promised.
I mean, I don't know, man. I try not to focus on politics anymore, to be honest. But no, I do think you're right on a few things. Like a lot of people blow I think a lot of people in general, they blow presidential stuff up. Like, this guy was such a horrible person. This guy was, because I feel like usually when people are done with their presidency, people usually are like, oh yeah, that we did have a good president. They switch up, but then during the time they're like, yeah, no, where's president? So it's a weird thing how like you see people going from red to blue, blue to red. And I'm pretty neutral. Like I don't lean forward on one side or the other side. It really like like here's the thing. Here's my problem, and this is where people have a problem with me specifically, especially when they ask me. Like I didn't have a problem with Trump or anything. Maybe on how I said a few things and some of the tweets, but he was just being himself, like a lot of people are. But here's the thing, though. Like, I like some stuff Biden says. I like some stuff that Trump says. I like some stuff other people say. You know what I mean? That doesn't mean I take every single thing that they say as correct and accurate. I don't believe everything that everyone says. I take parts of it that I do believe in, and that's just my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't like, for example, like when the Republicans say something that's good and that would be good for the general population. um, why do why do the other side always have to tear that down? You know what I mean? Rather than, like, if Republicans say something good, why can't Democrats agree with that and be like, all right, cool, let's work together on that. And then when same thing for when Democrats say something good, why can't Republicans say, hey, all right, let's work on that, let's double down on this.
Yeah.
And I think this is the huge issue, because it's like we got these two huge gangs, man, and it's like no one wants to just work together. And I think that's the big thing. Like, I could sit here saying why Trump is better than Biden or why Biden's better than Trump, but both of them have good things to offer, but no one wants to work with each other.
Mm-hmm.
And that's my big thing. And that's, to me, that's just selfish, no matter who actually did better. The fact that we don't have people actually working together
Yeah.
is the bigger problem, because there's people out here who are really struggling, like, seriously, can't
And
afford to
think,
get surgery, can't
yeah.
afford to get medicine and prescription, and you know what I mean, just having better opportunities for themselves. And we could solve all these issues. The
Mm-hmm.
homeless issue over here in downtown, dude, it's so terrible. Like, once, like, we always got more people on the streets, it seemed like, every single day. Like, I drive by, you can't even smell the fresh air. I'm glad we wear face masks now, because you smell so much feces out here. Feces and piss. Dude, it smells horrible. You can't even go for a walk and just, like, breathe in the fresh air.
Mm-hmm.
It's terrible. And that in LA too. You probably heard about LA. Bro, I remember last time I was in LA, it was terrible. It was terrible. So many tents. Tent city. I think that's what they called it. Um, but over here too, in Sacramento, dude, same thing. It's starting to become like that. And it's like that in San Francisco as well, and so
Yeah.
many other places. And I think that's the problem, man. People just aren't working together, who have the money, who have the power. Um, their their main goal and primary focus, it seems, is to make themselves look better and better and better, rather than, like, anyone. It's not like anyone's opposing you. It's like, if someone proposes something, why can't we just work together?
Yeah.
But then sometimes, like, you have people trying to tear down the top guy, and they're just willing to just attack them on everything, even when that person does have a few good things to offer. Like, dude, and that's my problem, man. Like,
Yeah.
with politics, I mean, yeah, if I was asked about Trump wasn't bad. I honestly liked some of the crazy stuff he said, because it was like, all right, he's showing us his flaws, but even if his thinking wasn't right, look, he went out there and said it, because a lot of people come out and they're trying to be Mr. Perfect, and it's like, you could tell, when someone's not being, themselves, and they put on, like, a mask. But with him, it was like he was just himself, which was cool, because it was like you didn't get this fake politician of a person putting on his different tie
Yeah.
for the different, and it's funny. I just think with a lot of the presidents that we've had, you could tell, like, behind doors, they're a completely different person, and a lot of these people probably weren't as honorable as they are, as they made themselves seem to be,
Mm-hmm.
to the public. But it's whatever, man. It's whatever. People are going to do what they're going to do.
Yeah. Always.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So tell me what's going on with you, man. Look, we can sit here reading articles, but what are some of your thoughts on, like, what are some of your thoughts on what both sides could be coming together and trying to make better? Like,
Like, what what sides are we talking about? We're talking about like,
Republican, Democrat, like, because
no,
like
cause
they're constantly opposing each
no,
other.
no, cause like I love this question because there's a lot of two sides to everything. Cause
Yeah, but what
we
would you
can
like to see them to come
no,
together
I mean
on?
like cause we can talk about the political side. We can talk
Mm,
about the black and white side like that. Like there's all these
like
different,
race
yeah,
matters,
like race
or
matters. There's all different sides that we could talk about, and I mean you can
it's a wide answer or wide on,
it
yeah.
just a wide spectrum, and I just love talking about the conversation of the whites and the blacks because that's been going on forever.
That one.
You know, I think the problem I think the problem people got to realize is okay, I get it. Our history is never going to go away. Okay? The history of slavery, the history of the white man, it's going to stay.
And that's been happening since the dawn
But
of time.
here's the problem. It's history. Doesn't mean it's not burned into generations now, but it's history. See, the problem is if you keep talking about what's happened in the past, it's going to keep evolving and evolving, and then we're going to come full circle to how it was back then. It's just going to be our kids, our the next generation, next generation. It's just all going to come full circle. The way you can get like rid of racism is to stop talking about it, to to stop acting like racism. Okay, the way I look at it, if the way I look at it, I don't see black and white. Okay, I see we're all the same. We're all humans. Okay, yeah. Are humans Can humans be evil? Can humans be racist? Yes, we can. But when it comes down to it, if you treat me with respect, I'll treat you with respect. That's what it all comes down to. No one is born racist. Okay? The problem is you're taught it. And it all comes down to that when you're growing up, you are taught that white people are bad. You are taught that black people are bad. Okay? You're taught this stuff. So it's burned into your mind that it's bad. And if you sit down and have a conversation with one another, you will find you have a lot in common. And that's the way I look at it. You treat me with respect, I treat you with respect. If you don't want to respect me, get out of my face. That's when it comes down to it. So when I hear on the news how I can't get a job or, whatever, something like that, and I'm blaming the white man, why is it my fault? Why is everything in society always the white man's fault? Like, if you can't go out, like this is where I'm at, and I'm not trying to be offensive. I'm not trying to be anything like that. Okay, this is just what it is. This is what society is. Okay, if you look at it, the society is, yeah. Do most do most black people sell drugs? Yes, because that's just the way everything is. Okay, but if you're not trying,
We're talking about hold up. We're talking about selling drugs. Uh, Pharmaceuticals, that right there is the biggest distributor. Okay,
yes,
I mean, look, that's
no,
so
no,
so
no,
we can't. I don't think
no,
we can compare
no. I'm not
that to
saying
that.
I'm
But
not saying like I'll be more specific.
we
I'm not
went.
saying
Remember the school or you went to the other school, but the school I came from, all the people who were selling drugs were white. So
okay.
look,
No,
that
no, okay.
we can't really talk about, like, I guess, because look, everyone's doing drugs. It's like just like breathing. Everyone breathes the same air. Um, People sell drugs, and it doesn't matter race. We didn't talk. We're talking black and white here, but that's not just a black and white
No,
issue.
no, no,
That's
no, no.
that's
I'm
like
I'm not saying it's black and white issue. I'm not saying one race is
Yeah,
doing it.
but you said black people sell more, but see, here's the thing though. Like, I wonder what Google would say about that. Let's hold on. Let's actually pull this up on Google. I'm playing devil's advocate here.
No, because I'm trying to say, I'm like, they're not selling more. I'm just saying, if you look at it, there's more. It's just I'm just trying to find the way to rephrase it, just to tell you, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But when you look at it, yes, everybody sells drugs. You know, it's just everyone does it, okay? But in the way society has put us as, you know, the white man being, you know, on top, and the black being, you know, in the more poverty and ghetto way, and there's more, you know, drugs and stuff into that society.
Uh-huh.
That's why more, you know, drug dealers and people on drugs are people of in that general population.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So, and then you get in that situation and that lifestyle, and then you want to come and get and blame the white man that you can't get a job. Okay?
Yeah.
Well, you're not putting in the effort to try to stop doing that and going to get a good job, going to get a good education. And a lot of the topics is, well, there's not a lot of things to help us get out of that situation.
Mm-hmm.
But if you look online and stuff, there are a lot of places that will help you get that. There's scholarship programs. There's a lot of things. So I think when it comes down to it, not just, I think majority as everybody as a society, we need to stop blaming one another.
Wow.
You know, we need to all to start taking responsibilities for our own actions. We're all responsible for us. I'm not responsible for you, anybody else, regardless of race, whatever. I'm not responsible. I'm responsible for me. Okay? So don't come and blame me for something that's going on in your life, because I have no control of your life.
Yeah. So what I'm looking at here is some of the research results.
Mm-hmm.
So, this is pretty cool, or pretty crazy. Blacks were convicted significantly fewer times than white people, 8 to 11 times difference.
Mm-hmm.
But so you know, black people had, you know, a few more offenses.
Yes, they have a.
But then when it came to their sentencing and incarceration, whites had less sentences, and the black people had longer sentences
For minor offenses.
for the same offenses.
Mm-hmm.
So black people would get longer sentences.
That's an entirely different category for the corrupt system that we have.
Yeah. That's same thing. Yeah. So of course, so I'm glad that this chart does show that, because they're showing drug sales and possession.
I heard about that too. How
Yeah.
blacks are more likely to spend more time for the same amount of crime.
Yeah. So blacks were more frequently charged with drug sales or possession than whites. And so whites had, let's see. Oh, hold up. Whites had more charges indirectly related to drugs, such as committing a crime in order to buy drugs or being high while committing a crime, 80% to 53%. And then over here, blacks were two times more likely than whites to have possession charges, not any physical charges. So like white people would actually were more likely to commit a crime than a black person was. Black person would more likely have it in their possession. White people would most likely have something related to drugs and then commit a crime. And then black people would still serve a longer sentence. That's crazy. But I mean, look, yeah, like that's a different conversation because seeing that, it's
That's
it says
entirely
something
because
else.
that's entirely because from what I was talking about is more about is just more about the general society and profiling and stuff like that.
Yeah,
What you're talking about is more of the system and how the
yeah, yeah,
government, how the court systems and everything portray what they considered is a profiling case or something like that. So that's an entirely different conversation from what I was talking about.
yeah. So, and here's a so check this out. So the drug of choice now, blacks with 49% have marijuana. Okay, white people 10%. Very that's is very less. Now let's go to let's go to heroin. Black people 7%, white people 50%. So I mean, look, when we talk about drug of choice, I guess white people just want the harder one. I guess so. I mean, look, stats are looking here. 50%. That's a lot. So out of 100 people, 50 50 people of white people would prefer heroin. I don't know how to say this, but this is just what the numbers are showing. Other drugs, it would, white people 24%, black people 13%. Um, and then injection rate, black people would prefer drug with injection 14%, white people 60%. So they'd rather have their stuffs injected. It's pretty interesting. These stats are quite quite accurate. So I'm um, looking at this website that really goes into depth. There's a lot of other information just comparing the black and white issues. But look, regardless of all the numbers, not it's an issue, and I think we learned something there. I mean, the big difference here is that the problem is the sentencing, and like you said, that's another conversation. But when you get in trouble for the same thing, what determines that? I think at that point, it's definitely what you would say. Maybe that part would be racism, systematic racism. That's
Yes.
what we dip our feet into, and you know that definitely has to change. And I would say going into a Target or Walmart, destroying those buildings, Goodwill stores, does not fix that at all. It does not fix systematic. You know what I mean? It doesn't fix the racism part when it
Mm-hmm.
comes to that. Um, it's a big thing. And think about someone on their first offense, and they probably don't deserve to go in with the big boys. They probably just need a reality check, and to just put them back on the right track, but just writing them off and making their sentence,
Yeah.
um, and putting them straight into prison for first offense. I don't think maybe first depending on the offense, if there's like a violent crime um, with that. I do think that definitely needs to be taken more serious depending on the injuries, the GBIs, if there's any broken bones and
Yeah.
stuff like that, or a death involved. But it's quite interesting, man. I do believe that drugs are a huge issue for all sorts of races, man. And I'd say the bigger one is the heroin.
Mm-hmm.
If you ask me, like marijuana, that's if you ask me, bro, I don't think marijuana is good for everyone, and I mean that. And there's some people who I've seen taking it and now they're just paranoid and hooked on so many different things, but that's not everyone that I've come across who smoke marijuana. Um, but I will say I do notice people are more on edge, more sensitive, who do smoke it. And I don't know. I think it affects everyone differently.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think when it comes down to it, I think it's because where I think growing up, marijuana was just so easy to get, and growing up, like people in the ghetto projects, they didn't have a lot of money, so weed was really cheap to get.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the reason white people were more up in like the heroin and the cocaine is just because it was just you get what you can afford and what's an easy access. And I think the heroin and cocaine, came from Colombia, and the
Mm-hmm.
heroin it came from the South. So I think it was just easier for the upper white people to get it, and I think weed was a low drug on the total pool. So I just think it was easy for people in the ghetto and people in the projects, and it was just easier for them to sell it and get that. So, and I think when it comes down to it, it's just what's easy to get and what's available to you.
So accessibility is
Yeah.
one thing, and where
Yeah.
you're getting your stuff
Yeah.
can
It's
have
just
a difference.
accessibility. It's just what can I get? And it's like saying, okay, if if weed wasn't there and it was just, the high drug like cocaine, crack, heroin,
Mm-hmm.
but it was easy to get,
Yeah.
you would get that. It just has to do with accessibility. It's whatever you can get. And those drugs in those areas, they were just easy to get. So they just decided, hey, that's the drug we're going to use.
And do you think that's the case for a lot of the heroin users? Like, it's just what they have at the time, or
Just what they can get.
because that number that we were reading off of was a huge difference.
Well, the problem with a lot of people are like, well, how do you go from weed to heroin?
And yeah,
And it's not necessary. It's just you want something more. It's just let's say you've been smoking weed almost your entire life.
mm-hmm,
Okay. But then you want to try something different.
mm-hmm,
And it's just, and then you're like, okay, well, I've smoked weed. I got my fix, but I want something more. This is not cutting it.
mm-hmm,
So then you try cocaine. You do cocaine. You're like, okay, I get my high and everything, but still not getting anything. Then you move up to injecting. So it's just constantly moving up in the levels. It's just what makes you not just accessibility. It also has to do with what satisfies you. Like if you want to stay on weed and that satisfies you and relaxes you, then you stay on that. But if you want something different, then you just move up. You try something else. And then if that doesn't,
try exercising,
well, I mean, some people,
go vegan.
if yeah, but like if coke doesn't help you, crack doesn't help you, then you,
Yeah.
you move out to heroin. If heroin doesn't do it, you start popping pills.
Yeah.
It's just when it comes down to it, it's just what is good for you. Some people just take drugs because they just want to do it.
Yeah.
Some people take them because it just relaxes them and that's what they want to do. So when it comes down to it, it's just what relaxes you and what you like. That's what it comes down to.
Have you heard about teens who smoke pot? Teens who smoke pot are at risk for later schizophrenia.
Correct. So the
Have you
problem,
heard about this?
the problem with smoking weed so basically the entire thing that I forget what they were called when they started the weed is a gateway drug,
Yeah.
okay, to higher drugs, which is not true. People who smoke weed young, chances are they're not even going to smoke harder drugs when they grow up. But you shouldn't smoke weed when you're under a certain age because it can affect your brain and you can't do it. So if you're smoking a lot of weed at the age of 13, 14, your brain's still developing, chances are when you're in your 20s, it is going to affect you. So smoke weed. Like if a kid wants to smoke weed at a young age, I'm not going to tell him what to do. If he wants to smoke weed, go ahead. I will say though, don't smoke a lot. Because yes, doctors have say there is a long-term effect that can affect you in the long run. They say the best way, if you want to smoke, wait till you're like 24 or 25 when your brain is finished developing. Then you should be perfectly fine.
Yeah. So right here it says young people with a parent or sibling affected by psychosis have a roughly 1 in 10 chance of developing the condition themselves, even if they never smoked pot. Regular marijuana use, however, doubles their risk to a 1 in 5 chance of becoming psychotic. So, in comparison, youths and families unaffected by psychosis have a 7 in 1,000 chance of developing it. If they smoke pot regularly, the risk doubles, which would make it 14 in 1,000.
So are they talking about the people who are smoking weed, or are they talking about when they're smoking when they're pregnant?
No, we're talking about teens here. So, like, I think, so if the parents have known history of psychosis or some sort of schizophrenia,
But
and
then
then,
that would come down to hereditary.
yeah, it's hereditary now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're at risk of developing these disorders, and then when you start smoking marijuana, it doubles.
Yes.
It doubles and so it increases all of these psychosis issues. It leads to so many different problems like concentrating, loss of emotional expression, and even disabling brain disorders, which won't allow you to do certain things. Your perceptions, your thought patterns, things that you usually do for your habits, and how you are and how you develop will all be blocked, and kind of like a neurotransmitter sending messages.
Yeah.
And so things will be blocked, and you just won't function as you normally should. But this is pretty interesting. And now let's see. I want to see this real quick. They say that this is still somewhat new research.
Yeah.
But I wonder though, because I feel like a lot of the information that is now coming to us has already been known for a long time, and they're just putting it out. After a certain amount of time they let pass by. Like, for example, like the military and their special equipment and their operations and stuff and technology that they have. They say that we're 40 to 60 years behind on what the public knows. So they're whoever's inside the buildings doing all that new tech and stuff in the military, they're up to date. We're not. Like, there's stuff in there that we'll never even know that existed yet. Or but then again, like, if you watch movies, stuff that happens in movies, like, new science, or not science, but new technology that you see, like Iron Man and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I believe that stuff really does exist, though. And I'm pretty sure, or it either exists or it doesn't yet, or they're close to it, or whatever, or they're past it. I don't know. I feel like they're letting us know through these movies on what they already have, but they're not going to come to the public and just announce that we have this new technology. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Like when it comes to UFOs and stuff, how does it move that fast, a quarter of a second? It's like it disappeared or teleported, whatever. We don't know what exists, man. They could be opening up black holes, and just, like, you know what I mean, teleporting from this time and space to, you know what I mean. What if we got to the moon by teleporting? You know what I mean? Like, we don't know these things. It's crazy to talk about, yes. Crazy to believe, yes. I can't prove it. None of us can prove it. No one, how do you go about that? These are just thoughts. But I'm pretty sure, with the knowledge that we do have, we could kind of explain it, but we would not be able to prove it yet. I think we have yet to find out stuff like that. But I don't know, man. Interesting stuff with technology. But there's a lot of things when it comes to, like, drugs and stuff. And they even have experimental drugs for, like, Alzheimer's disease. They have, like, experimental stuff that they're using on mice. And I guess it's working on mice. I don't know if they tried that stuff on humans yet, but better test it out on some mice first before you catch a case, you know. But I don't know. Alzheimer's is a really bad disease, man. It's terrible. It's horrible. But there's a lot of new things going on, man. So I wanted to I wanted to bring this up. So, did you know? Here. So, there is a new perspective on the genomes of archaic humans. You heard about this topic? Okay, let's get into it. So, researchers examined 14,000 genetic differences between the modern humans and our most recent ancestors at a new level of detail. They found that differences in the gene activation, not just a genetic code, could underlie evolution of the brain and vocal tract. Quite interesting. So, what do you think that means?
That they're saying that we have more in common, that our brain our brain functions the same way. Like, you know how they say like we come from monkeys?
Yeah.
They're basically saying that our intelligence are basically the same. I mean, not basically the same, but they come from the same category. They're the same brain waves. They're the same brain functions. I mean, it's like saying like between us and monkeys, why do you think monkeys can open bananas? Why do you think they can open cans? Why do you think they have opposable thumbs?
Mm-hmm.
Why do they think they have 10 toes and their fingers? Because
Yeah.
they're the same as us. You know, we can hang from trees. We can open stuff. So they're basically just saying that they found different ways that we can relate to these species.
Yeah, you're
that they're
right.
the same as us.
Exactly. They're saying they determined that the differences were more likely to be associated with the vocal tract and the cerebellum, or is it cerebellum? I don't know.
Cerebellum.
Cerebellum. Okay, you went to college, so I'm gonna take your word for it. Which is the part of our brain that receives sensory information, controls voluntary movement, including walking, coordination, balance, and speech. So, guessing uh, these, the vocal tract and cerebellum are the reasons why for these physical differences, but also show the close related groups of humans that we are, and how related we really can't, what could have activated it, what genes were silenced, and how the DNA instructions were followed because of these changes. But it's pretty interesting though, like us and modern, the old humans and the modern ones. I wouldn't know the difference, but I don't think that we came from apes. I really don't. I don't know. I don't see how, like, why aren't apes over here just slowly evolving? You know what I mean? Like, of course, if it did, it probably would take so long. But we haven't seen a modern ape just. Yeah, there's an ape that knows sign language, but you know what I mean? He's not walking around looking just like us, you know? And I guess, yeah, our DNA is closely related, but, I don't think DNA could just tell us that much when it comes to, is this where we came from?
I think when it comes down to DNA and evolution, it's just basically saying like who had to evolve and who just died off. You know, you can go back to the the fish, the sharks in the oceans. You can go back to the dinosaurs. You can go back to all these different things, the saying where we came from. So you have to come back to the fact that okay, when evolution hit, who evolved and who stayed. So it's like okay, we had to evolve from we evolved from monkeys. Not the big gorilla apes. We just evolved from monkeys.
You think so?
Yes, we evolved from monkeys. Because the reason is evolution keeps changing and changing and changing, keeps changing, okay? The reason there's still, monkeys and gorillas around, you're saying, no, well, why don't they change, in the human? It just has to do with what percentage, because there's different kinds of monkeys, there's different types of gorillas, there's different types of every living animal, living everything. So it takes in consideration about who decided to evolved into the next species, and who decided to stay the same?
But what are some things of like I like to, like the caterpillars, and training the butterflies. Like like what are we seeing that's turning? We haven't seen a monkey evolve into a human though.
Okay, so evolution is really hard to describe.
Of course, there's
Okay,
some long form
so
evolution, like,
so
but we
you
haven't
can
seen a
you
modern
can you
monkey
can
turn
go
into a human
okay,
though.
you can go through anything. Okay, if you want to go the evolution route, okay, if you want to go the Big Bang route, okay, if you want to go into, your religious route, okay, the the things is you're never going to know the right answer. When it comes down to it, it just comes down to how you think, how you believe this happened.
So
So,
does it make sense to you, or are you just going with it because of all the information you've gathered?
oh yeah, all the information, and it totally makes sense to me that
It
we
makes so
evolved
what
from there.
makes so for someone like me, how can you convince me that we came from monkeys and stuff like that? Because I have not been convinced from all the
Okay,
information that I've
what do you
looked.
think we come from though?
I think that we're just what we are. Like
Hmm.
monkeys are monkeys, humans are
Okay,
humans. A fish is a fish.
so we just got dropped. We
I
just got dropped here.
I don't think we just got dropped here. I think that we just developed as we are. I think we came here, however, however we are now. You know what I mean? Like the big differences and stuff that people like to point out. I think there really is none because that's just what we always were. I don't
Oh
think that at some point that we were some monkeys swinging in
no,
trees,
no,
eating
no.
other monkeys
I
and
I
eating bananas.
I get what you're
You
saying,
know?
like where we came from and everything, but you have to come from somewhere. We just didn't just drop off. Like you can take, okay, 65 million years ago they were dinosaurs. They got wiped out, okay? And then all the other stuff came forward, okay? Okay, and then all that stuff got wiped out, okay? And then the ocean started to clear up, and then that got wiped out. Megalodon got wiped out. All those sharks got wiped out, and then we came. So the question I'm trying to get at is, where do you think we come from? Whether you believe in the religious saying, okay, God made the heaven and hells, and He just put Adam and Eve here, and then we all were created. Okay, you can go by the Big Bang theory, saying it just wiped out the dinosaurs, and all of a sudden, humans came,
Well,
or you can go through the saying we evolved from animals. So there's all these other things, but I'm just trying to grasp and get to the point. Where do you think we come from?
well, here's the thing though. There's humans, and this is just going off of like fossil records, is saying that we've been here for about 6 million years.
Okay.
And with those 6 million years, there are 15 to 20 different species of humans.
Yes, there's a lot of humans.
So, but that's mainly the early humans, of course. So at the start, there's all sorts of humans walking around. Uh, but the thing is that, you know, the thing is, like, of course, we could all be different, just like our race and our colors. But I don't like, I don't know what would make a different species per se. Um, but they did find the first humans and, the early humans over in Africa. So, when it comes down to that, dude, like, I don't know what to make of this information. It's stuff that's just being found. And the early humans, I guess they did look different, and they looked weird. Like they probably had like longer arms, kind of like a monkey a little bit. But here's the thing, though: there's 15 to 20 different species. So here's the thing: with monkeys, there's different species. With gorillas, there's different species. With fish, there's different birds. Hundreds of millions of different types of species of birds, bugs too. So would I say that we're just another species of a monkey? Like that would be the only comparison to it. I don't think we're monkeys because I just don't see that and it doesn't make sense to me, but if there was 15 or 20 different species of humans, how do we determine if those were humans? I guess some of the bones and fossil
Mhm.
records, but I don't know
Well,
how to really.
they're still trying. They're still discovering fossils and they're still getting the records. The only reason they're putting us coming from monkeys is because that's the closest. That's right now. That's the closest they can put between monkeys and humans.
It's probably right. I
That
could be
we have
wrong.
more DNA and we have more we
Chromosomes.
have more chromosomes and physical features as a monkey, and that's how they determine that we're our closer selves as other monkeys because we have more of the features on them. And I agree. I'm watching documentaries of there's tons and tons of different humans that were back in the day in the millions of years in the caveman period and all these other periods. There's there's tons and tons of different types of humans. Okay, but we haven't discovered more evidence to say that we're more of a relative to them than we are to monkeys.
Mm.
And until that happens, we're still going to be on the fact that we descend from monkeys.
Well, I here's the thing. With all the different species, I think I lean more towards um, we were somehow created,
Mhm.
and I don't know by God or whatever. I don't know. I think that because there's gene manipulation.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? There's play at work there. Who knows? What if the people back in the day were more advanced than we were? So I keep that as a possibility because there's a lot of things left for us in the past that we could look at, and the Big Bang, the flood, dude, like that's killed a lot of animals, humans. Like we don't even think about the humans that they could have killed. We just talk about all the animals and how they went extinct. We're not talking about how humans went extinct. That could have been a whole species right there who are probably very advanced, probably even more advanced than us. If they were around then, I don't know. But it's just all speculation, really. I can't find anywhere where that would say it's true, or even with the monkeys. Like the monkeys, I guess it's more comparable because like you could say like here's the anatomy and the DNA of a monkey versus a human. Of course, there's going to be more like, and when you compare a human to like for example a mice
Yeah.
or a little a guinea pig. Like, of course, monkeys out of everything else are going to look more like us. But I think that they're their own species. I
Yeah.
don't think they're in the same. Like, you can't compare us to a great white shark.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, come on, man. Like,
No, I mean, when it comes down to it, it just comes down to what you want to believe in. I can sit.
so where did monkeys evolve from? Like, now that's my next question. If we evolved from monkeys, let's say,
Mhm.
where did monkeys evolve from?
The ocean.
Hold on, let me search this up. That was from the ocean. All right, let's see.
Cause if you look back in the history, okay, land wasn't around all the time. Okay, it was formed. Okay, by underwater volcanoes. Land was formed
Hmm.
because of that. So all the stuff that's on land, it had to come from somewhere.
Ooh, all right. So this is what I found. So the origin of monkeys or higher primates is a contentious subject among scientists. A series of fossils found in Egypt led to the commonly held belief that Africa was the original home of anthropods or pods, I don't know, anthropods. Recent discoveries, however, have suggested that they might have actually originated from Asia. Hmm. How did we evolve from monkeys? I want to see how monkeys evolved. I don't, That doesn't really answer the question. I don't know. Come on, Google. But how did we evolve from monkeys? Humans are not descended from monkeys or any other primate living today. We do not share a common ape ancestor with chimpanzees. It lived between 8 to 6 million years ago All apes and monkeys share a more distant relative which lived about 25 million years ago. Oh, look at that. Look at that. So if we're even remotely related to monkeys, that happened so long ago that we weren't even around then. But monkeys today are related to something very far back. And they're trying. The only thing that they could try to link us back is the monkeys.
Mm-hmm.
See, I don't think that we came from monkeys, man.
Okay, then we didn't. Then I was proved wrong. And that's
Oh, here's the question I had earlier. Why are there still apes if we evolved? We evolved and descended from the common ancestor of apes, which lived and died in the distant past. This means that we are related to other apes and that we are apes ourselves, and alongside us, the other living ape species have also evolved from that same common ancestor and exist today in wild zoos. See, this is all very. One says one thing.
They
One
say
says,
humans are mostly related to chimpanzees.
yeah, I've seen that. I've seen that. But I mean, what's that comparing to? You know, is that saying in general, like we're just like you see a monkey on the side of the road and you needed a blood donor, you just go get a chimp, right? If we're so related to these monkeys, if I need a new heart, are we just gonna go pick up a monkey?
No,
Why don't we
but
just start taking monkey hearts?
See, this is the thing I like about this, guys, is you do this podcast and you read and you voice your opinion and you do stuff, and then you get on it and then you're proven wrong, which is perfectly fine. I don't mind being proven wrong. Like there's nothing
Yeah.
wrong with it. I give my opinion, and it's my opinion. If I believe, hey, we descend from monkeys, and then I look up saying, oh wait, we don't. I'm wrong. I'll admit that I'm wrong of something. Okay, I'm wrong. All right, we don't. But, that's just the way it is. People think of one thing and then they're just proven wrong. And I'm not upset that I'm wrong about it. I'm just like, okay, fine.
Yeah, these are wild conversations that we're having. We have no idea what we're stepping into, but I don't even know. I don't even know how to move forward on this. But I just think that we're our own species, though. Just talking about monkeys specifically. I mean, I don't. I mean, I think some people do act like monkeys. Maybe that, maybe it is true. I've seen some people do some wild things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the storming of the Capitol. Those are all monkeys. Anyways, hey, look, this is a great episode, dude. We'll have to do something like this again. Obviously, we'll get to it, and we'll bring up a whole bunch of topics and research and all that.
Yeah.
But thank you for coming on, and for everyone else out there, we upload on Thursdays at 8 a.m. in the morning. So if you guys are wondering, when and where, you can find it on YouTube. You can find it on Spotify. I'm working on a few other platforms as well. But, that's where we got it on right now. So if you don't like having your phone burning in your pocket on YouTube watching this whole podcast, you can find it on Spotify. You just search up The Mix with Anthony Douglas and it'll pop up right there.
Yeah.
But, Tristan, thank you for coming on.
Well, no problem, man.
Awesome. All right, you guys, y'all have a good one, and we are out.